Hey, Mystic Michaela, spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela today. Let me ask you some questions here. Have you been feeling itchy in your current career choices? Maybe you feel like, oh, did I make the wrong choices? Or you're not feeling fulfilled, or you're feeling a little numb. Perhaps you're seeing some angel numbers a lot. Are you seeing the angel number 911 constantly? Maybe you're even thinking about, do I go back to school? Do I change my life around? In what ways? How do I connect more with others and myself? Well, here's the thing. You may be having a light worker awakening, and we are going to talk all about that today. But first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. I'm not 100% sure I know what a light worker is. Mm-hmm. I feel that I am one, but I'm not sure what it is. And I know you've been throwing around this term a lot lately, especially the last few months, because you're writing a book, and I assume this comes up a lot in there.
Yes.
So tell us.
Yeah, so about a year ago, I felt this need, because I do all these readings. You know, we have the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family. All of you who find this podcast and listen to it, you all have something in common, an increasing need to help others and connect. And it's a light worker awakening. Like, I see it in our own community. And I felt really compelled to create a resource for all of you to use on your own personal journeys with however this looks. Light workers aren't always just like Reiki masters, you know. Light workers are people who are just manipulating, feeling energy around them and want to use it to level up their life in the best way possible. So I wrote the Encyclopedia of Energy Healing for that purpose. But yeah, I feel that this is something that is very prevalent now, more than it has been ever.
Okay. All right. So for those of us that don't know, I'm assuming most people that listen to this podcast know this term, have heard this term, know it very well, but I don't. So what is a light worker?
So a light worker is a word. It's thrown around a lot in spiritual communities, but basically you're a soul that has come here to connect on a deeper level and heal. And it's many professions this can occur in, not just the obvious healer positions like a therapist or a nurse, or like I said, an acupuncturist or an energy healer. Not just that. It can be artists. As a parent, you can awaken into light worker abilities, writers, entrepreneurs. It's really about the motivation. You're united by this underlying motivation of leaving the world better than how you found it. So it's not exactly the title of what you do. It's how you show up for others, why you show up for others, and what you get out of it, and tapping into the collective and feeling as if you are contributing in a meaningful way.
Okay. So it seems like, based on this definition that you just said, that, I mean, pretty much anyone could be a light worker, or everyone's a light worker?
You know, that's the thing. And I think this is something I had to learn.
Okay.
And this is crazy, because a lot of people listening, you'll get what I'm about to say. Like, not everyone's nice, you know?
Okay. Well, that's true.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, some people really, we're all selfish. Like, we all do things for our own selfish needs, right? Even wanting to connect or feel like you're helping. In a way, I guess you could argue, well, that's selfish, you know, like that. But this is not, it's not that. It's about feeling that what you've done, like your mission in life, is knitted together with the assistance that you're giving in some way. So it's not like you're just, if you've ever been in a job, for example, and you're giving, but you don't see it helping, you know, like, I do this. And it's not about the thank yous, or it's not about the pats on the back or even your pay. It's about looking around and being like, is what I'm doing even registering? Is it making a ripple? Is it even feeling like I'm making a difference, or I'm leaving the world better than I found it? Not everyone cares about that. You know, like not everybody feels that need to actually make an impact that's positive. That's the difference between people, light workers, and people who are just living in a society where we do have to help each other out here and there for our own purposes.
So is it based, so you mentioned a lot of like careers, like therapists, nurses, entrepreneurs, teachers, I think. How do I put this? Is it the intention behind it?
Yes. So, it's the intention.
So like, if you're a teacher and your intention is to put this goodness out there to your students, then that makes you a light worker.
Yeah.
What about, let's say you're an entrepreneur.
Right.
And you do it, but it's unintentional. Like meaning like you do a positive thing for the world, but your intention in your mind is, for greed. Just for your own benefit.
That's not light working.
So that
you
wouldn't
have
be,
to
but
feel.
unintentionally it could help.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that's the difference.
Okay.
That's how my interpretation of it is too. Like you are actively plugged into the deeper meaning, or the 5D, not the 3D, the 5D purpose of what you're doing. So let's say, by the way, a lot of entrepreneurs are light workers. And yes, like I read these people all the time. Like you have a company, like let's say you and your husband, you put together a roofing company. All right. And you're like, okay, there's a lot of work and you're roofing, so you're making money and it is contributing to your family. And it's for profit, but what are you doing? You are hiring people. You're making sure they're taken care of. You're making sure their families are taken care of. You're in the community. You're giving honest service, honest prices, honest work. People feel like they can trust you during this process. That is a form of light working. You're giving back to the community. You're recycling the goodness so other people are part of that energy. That could be considered a light working situation. So it's really the motivation under it. I read so many people and they're like, I can't give over my business, or I can't not be in charge of everything because somebody might not do it the way it needs to be done, because my integrity and the customers and helping them is so integral to how I do things and who I am. And that's not always talked about as a light working scenario. Yeah. I think a lot of in the spiritual world, what we're most used to hearing with light working, we're hearing it's somebody that does energy healing, or, it's a nurse, which sure, all that is true too, but it can be in a logical way too. Like you're giving a good, honest service with the intention of making sure people in this life feel protected and safe and trusted and like they're getting something for what they're giving.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, I think, and the way I'm understanding it is you have to have that intention.
Yeah.
Because you could have that same roofing business.
Yeah.
And run it in a way in which it only maybe, yes, you do give jobs to people, but it really is for you to, be profitable.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe you do cut corners on people's roofs to make more profit for yourself.
Right.
Or things like that. So
you're getting away from it.
You're right. That would be getting away from the light working, because that really isn't your intention. The intention that you set is to make money for you and your family.
It's really like you feel like you're connected to the collective.
Okay. So it's almost something that's hard to explain.
It is.
I would think.
It is.
Because I'm okay.
But what happens is too, when you're awakened, and we're going to talk about awakening and activation into light working. When you have this activation, you have this awakening, you become way more sensitive as well to your impact, to how every little thing you do or feel matters and can affect you. And that's why when you are awakening and activating your light working abilities, you have to be very careful about the energy around you, your energetic health, the health of your environment, how you spiritually protect yourself and personally protect yourself, and how you physically protect yourself. Because when you're a light worker, you're so tapped into the collective, you become more permeable to the energies all around you. Because when you're in the collective energetically, you feel everything energetically. And that is why so many of you are being awakened right now into your light working abilities, because the world is hurting.
Okay. Yeah. And actually, I do have a question about that. So this is not so, how do I put this? You're not born light worker or not light worker, correct? So could you become a light worker at age 35?
Yeah.
And let's say for the first 34 years, you weren't.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden at 35, you get this call, I don't know, the bat signal.
The bat signal. Light workers unite. Yeah.
And all of a sudden at 35, all right, I feel like I'm a light worker.
Yes. And that some people are born into it. Right. This is just how they are.
Right.
Okay. And there's probably a lot of people listening. And that's great. But it really is tiresome. But then other people have an awakening later. It's something that was dormant in them. The world is hurting, and more of them are getting the call, the activation.
Does that activation then turn off if the world would, let's say, get better? Would some people then go back to...
I don't think so.
I'm 35, now at 40, I'm no longer.
You can't unring the light worker bell.
Okay.
I feel like once it's been rung, that's it. And it can feel... And I'm going to talk about how it feels and the signs that you're having.
All right. Well, it seems like the world is hurting right now. So I assume these signals are going out.
Yes.
And we're getting more light workers awakened. When we come back, you're going to talk about that.
My cat, Dusty, he's a senior cat. We had him about 6 years. And when we got him, they said he was 5 years old. Now I think he was a little older. And long story short, Dusty has a lot of senior moments. For example, his new senior moment is he likes to claim one of our beds. And then if you sit on it, he'll bite you. But then he forgets he bites you and he's sorry. He's very sweet. But then he'll probably bite you again because he'll forget. And we just continue. Here's the thing. We want to keep Dusty around as long as possible. He's a sweet guy. And because of that, we use Smalls. Smalls, our sponsor, is really great cat food for my senior cat because, for example, he used to, when we first got him, have terrible problems with throwing up. And we can't have that. He has to retain all of his food in his body. He's older. And with Smalls, we see none of that anymore. Smalls fresh cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free, 100% human-grade ingredients you'd find in your fridge. And it's delivered right to your door. And since switching to Smalls, I've noticed improvements in all my cats, and especially in my senior guy, Dusty. It's because Smalls' fresh, gently cooked food is made without any preservatives. And this balanced diet leads to less shedding, fewer throwing up moments, fewer hairballs, and more silky shine. And Smalls cat food leads to high protein and improved hydration. That's another thing with Dusty. I want to make sure he's drinking a lot, and he will eat his food, and sometimes I even put, Smalls has fish broth topper, and I'll just a little treat every once in a while. I put it on top, and he just loves that. And then I don't worry about his hydration so much. And cats, they use protein. That's their main energy source. More protein means more fuel and more sustained energy. So stop serving your little carnivore a bowl of processed shortcuts. For a limited time, because you are a Know Your Aura listener, get 60% off your first order plus free shipping and free treats for life when you head to smalls.com/KYA. That's 60% off your first order plus free shipping and free treats for life when you head to smalls.com/KYA. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. All right, so we ended the segment with talking about when the world is hurting, then light workers awaken. And it got me kind of just thinking in these few moments, like, yes, the world is definitely hurting right now, but there's obviously been other time periods where the world has been hurting. I don't want to say more or less, but, you had the world wars, right? World War I, World War II, the bubonic plague that just wiped out like a third of Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, that had to be a horrific time to live through.
Yeah.
So I guess, and you don't have to answer this question, obviously, but are there just times where the signal is going out even more so than others, and then it kind of cools down?
I feel like it does. I feel like it goes out, activates like generationally, during maybe every certain amount of years, like there's some sort of activation that goes out and more are awakened and more. I guess my question is, because you're the history guy.
Yeah.
Like after these, I don't know history, but my question would be like, after something extremely serious happening, for many years of turmoil, is there a wave of, a renaissance or a peace or a wave of some sort of like, we've pivoted?
Yeah. I mean, let's take World War I.
Okay.
Now, I mean, and I know I'm getting you off topic here.
No, this is interesting.
Apologize.
It's interesting to see the pattern.
Yeah, I'll take World War I because before World War I, you had about 100 years of peace. When I say peace, no major wars. There were wars all the time. I can name 15 of them if I had to.
Right.
But relative peace for 100 years, from 1815 to World War I, which is 1914. So 100 years basically of peace. And then of course, you had the flu afterwards, the Spanish flu after World War I too. But then in the 20s, and this is just from historical knowledge, there was kind of like a euphoria, like when we think of the roaring 20s in the United States with the flappers,
right,
and times are good and people are spending and there's a lot of consumer products being developed and people are buying. It's like a euphoric time.
Wow.
So I don't know if that, historically, if that, does that fit this
I guess my question
I can only do it from my historical
for
mind.
like a logical
I can't
mind.
do it from the Lightworker mind.
My questions would be like, was that a time of any sort of like new philosophies or new sort of mentalities? Or
well, yeah, I think people did have
rights or new rights were made. People's were given more rights, or people were given more.
Women get the right to vote in 1920.
That's interesting.
I don't know if that would be something. I mean, after the bubonic plague, people just lived for the moment. There was like partying and a different philosophy on how to live.
Okay.
It ended kind of like this system of like there was like the feudalism, and I don't want to get into all that, but like that was dying out anyway. But maybe a different. Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I would, to me, like from this end of it, I would say it's a wave of light workers, like a wave of people just seeing things differently, bringing different gifts to the table, bringing different mentalities, different perspectives. A different collective unison.
Yeah. I mean, maybe more people would just be open after like a tragedy of World War I. Maybe they'd just be more open to.
Yeah, well, you could explain it that way too. Like people are just sick of it, and then like let's do something different. But I feel like that's what's happening now too.
Yes.
I know it is. Like people are like, okay, I am so like it is. Let's stop fighting online. Like that is so flippin' old. Like let's stop doing this. Let's stop fighting with people. Let's stop like just condemning people. Like let's just like mind your own business, you know, and if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. Like I feel not everybody, obviously, there's a lot of hate out there, but like the general consensus, I feel like with normal people is whatever, like that. And I feel like there's an apathy towards the fervor that once was with just like going at each other. And more of kind of like, I'm not going to give it attention like that. And I'm going to move forward. I mean, that's how I see it, but
I agree. I think a lot of people, especially in this country, over the last 10 years are tired.
We're tired.
They're just tired of it.
Yeah.
I know myself. It's like, I'm just
exhausted.
tired of it.
Like, come on. Let's just all hold hands.
Yeah.
Let's just get over it.
So it's been a decade.
So I wonder if that is part of like the light working shifts that we're talking about. But here's the thing, like when light workers awaken, it could have been a dormant path for you spiritually. And I believe in something that is super not scientific. It's like a spiritual genetics, or there's something in your DNA that is linked to a soul self or a higher self. And I feel like that can get kind of activated or awakened when the environment calls to it. And so when the planet is basically like, hey, make a difference, it's kind of like a sleeper cell. Like it's activated, like you get the calling, and that calling can feel like I have a mission, or I need to search, or can feel searching, can feel restless. Sometimes in readings, I'll call it, you're feeling itchy. I'll call it. It's more about emotional logic rather than what your life looks on paper. You know what? I know I went to school all these years to do this, and I'm working in corporate America, and I'm making good money, and my title looks great, and my whole family can brag about me, and nobody's worried about me, but it's just not cutting it anymore. Like I need to do something more impactful. And you follow that feeling more than you do, I guess, like the 3D logic or ego logic of it. So there's like gifts that are awakened with this activation. And one of them is you could be feeling way more sensitive than you have ever in the past. Like you might not be able to watch old TV shows you used to watch. You might not be able to, you know what? I like to pay attention to the news, but I can't watch it all day. You might all of a sudden, like you used to walk by the homeless person every day. And then one day you're like, oh my God, like it just like registers with you. Like that's a human. Like that. Like all of a sudden, it's not just something that your brain has learned to ignore. It's something you're tapping into, and it's exhausting. Yeah. And it's really stressful. And you have this desire to help and heal and organize. And in the past, you may have felt like, you know what? It's so overwhelming. There's so much to do. I'm just a drop in a bucket. You still understand that perspective, but you don't feel that way anymore. You're like, I don't care that I'm a drop in the bucket. We can all be drops in the bucket and fill the bucket. So you start identifying more with the collective ability to heal if we're all on the same page, because you're tapping more into all these other light workers that are doing the same thing. So you do find yourself finding new communities with people who feel the same way you do. And you start immersing yourself in the mentality of, yes, I'm small, but small makes a big difference. And if we're all doing it, we can do it together. So it becomes like a revolutionary feeling with the light working. You also feel a need for less chaos. You do not seek chaos. You don't seek it in relationships. You don't seek it in friendships. You don't seek it Anywhere you go, you're like, whatever. Like you're not a doormat, but you're also not seeking confrontation, not in an avoidance way, just in a whatever, life's short kind of way. You also may be feeling a need for more peace, more nature, easier for you to sit and have gratitude. Your mind doesn't rush as much as it used to. You're also going to notice through affirmations from other people. So other people may start telling you, wow, I was just being with you made me feel better. Thank you. Or what you said really made a difference in my life. I just want to thank you. So you're getting affirmations from people like, I want to be around you. And when I am around you, you make me feel good. And you've given me a different way to look about something. And then you sense also that not all of this energy that people are appreciating is coming from you. You may start feeling like a conduit or a vessel or a tool that a higher power is utilizing. You may feel that way too. You also may feel a huge disconnect from things. Like if something breaks, you're like, I don't need to replace that. I'm okay. Or I don't need the newest version. Or I don't need the newest pair of sneakers. Like you might see kind of like, and we all like new things. Like it's not like you become a monk living in the woods, like living on very little and wearing just a shroud. Okay, I'm not saying that, but it's just not. It doesn't feed you the way it used to. Like if you buy yourself a little present, it's like I don't know. It doesn't hit, and that can be exhausting too because the ways you used to self-soothe aren't working anymore. So you're like, oh my gosh, how do I self-soothe now? So you can get a little confused. You're like, how do I make myself feel better? How do I self-soothe? Because the way that you're self-soothing or the way that you're making yourself feel good or feed yourself is through helping others or connection or learning more about how to help others. So you may feel more need to spend money on education or more money on community events or more money on things where you feel like it's giving back to you or you're giving back to others. And also you could have crazy dreams, really, like when I was talking about seeing 911, 911 is, I wrote my angel numbers book too. It's a Lightworker activation code. Like if you see 911, we get a lot of like nervous because 911 is like the, obviously the number you call when you're in trouble, right. Or 9/11 is like a very infamous date, a very sad date. But 911 itself is a call to action from your angels or from your spirit guides, whatever you want to call them. And also you just don't get as mad at people. You're like, oh, you just kind of see, you're like, oh, all right, well, they're just human. So all these things lead to you really changing your life. So if you're in the middle of an awakening or this sounds familiar to you, other things that can happen is you're feeling confused, stuck, listless, and overwhelmed with next steps, I think would be the problem.
Now I have one question for you.
Yes.
And let me just take the logical approach here.
Okay.
Because everything you said sounds like things that I've been doing my whole life.
Yes.
I try to feed the homeless when I can.
Yes, you are like that.
The TV shows I watch are, Leave It to Beaver. And now my new favorite show is the Tom Hanks, The Americas.
The Americas.
Where he just goes around, looking at animals. It's on primetime NBC.
Who are you?
Yeah. And that's all really I can watch.
Right.
And this show before it is about which Abby keeps telling me is AI dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, it's like the Americas but with dinosaurs. She's like, that's AI, Dad.
Yeah, so the first one's like dinosaurs, and then the second one's like I think they're actual animals. Abby
or
said
CGI
they were.
or something.
Yeah, CGI. I don't know,
or Wheel of Fortune. You've been really into.
If I look at this from the logical perspective, because I've been doing this stuff pretty much my whole life. Like, maybe it's just that I'm cheap. I live under a rock, and I'm getting older.
Right.
Like, how do I, because like, all those things fit me. Like, everything you said, I understood that. Like, I don't really care. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't care about if something breaks, whatever.
Wow.
All these things that you said, like, I don't want to, I want peace. I just want to.
That's not true.
Could this just all be logical, or this is me? I am a light worker. I don't know. I don't see myself as a light worker.
You are a light worker. Yeah. Like, Scott, you know personally 3 homeless people around here. I'm not even joking. Like they're like, they know you and you know them, and you're always getting them stuff because you're always like on errand. Like, you don't talk about that stuff, but you would never say that. I'll say it. You wouldn't say it, but you yourself are very like one-on-one with people. And that's what I mean. Like dropping the bucket stuff is not dropping the bucket stuff. It's everything. If it's everything to someone, you just filled a bucket, if that makes sense. And so if anybody's feeling like that, like, oh, whatever, I'm just nice to somebody, like, okay, that doesn't, it's more like a mentality or a feeling behind it. And you could say, oh, I'm getting older and I just don't, but a couple things with that. Not everyone who gets older gets less angry. And talk to like half the people I do readings on with their family members because a lot of people who get older actually get angrier, like who are imbalanced or aren't connecting to the right things. Like I see a lot of that in family systems.
Oh, okay.
Like they want to control or they're upset or they don't see their children as independent humans or things like that.
Okay. Because for me, it's like I used to be real angry.
You used to be.
I used to be a real angry person. Yeah. And now I'm just, I get angry sometimes, but I don't feel angry anymore. I feel like I just want.
I think I don't think that's age. I think that's you finding your center and finding the connection to that which is greater than us in your own way. Okay. But I don't know what your original question was. I think it was, you're saying, is this just people getting older? Is what you said?
Well, the thing is, like you said, like so they'll buy like these gifts for themselves, and I'm saying, was it just me logically like being cheap, with myself that I live under a rock because I watch shows like The Americas instead of like knowing the latest, reality TV shows and, just maybe finding more peace and being like, whatever, because I'm getting older. That's what I was saying is that it's just.
You've always been this way, Scott. Like, I've met you this way. Like,
I've always been, always lived
really
under the rock. We had a song about me that
I
live
live under a rock.
But I don't know. So I guess.
I think, like, if you're going through it and what I just said, like, really resonates on a really deep level, you're having an awakening. Okay. If it's something where you're like, even if you're grappling with it, with the logic comes in like it just did with you and you're like, oh, well, isn't that everybody or whatever? Well, it's not everybody, just so you know. It's not.
Isn't that everybody?
No. I could tell this to some people. That's the thing, because remember, you're surrounded by this house and the Mystic Michaela spiritual family. Yeah. And we all talk like this.
Correct.
Okay. Like, this is how we all speak. And these are the people that I spend the most time with. Like the people listening and and myself in my head. Yeah. So this is who I spend the most time with. When I go out in the world and I actually have to have a conversation with somebody who has no idea, like it's hard.
No, I agree with that.
It is really, really difficult. It's really, really hard because how they talk or what they say or how singularly they see everything is like, oh my God. And I'm not trying to judge them. Everybody's doing their own thing. But we talk very differently, or we speak, or we think very differently than a lot of the world, which is why we're such a jovial cult.
Right. And there I am, with a bunch of dudes and red dudes. And then all of a sudden I mention auras because it's like just how I talk in my day. So it just slips out and then everyone looks at me like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, who's this guy?
The new trainer, he's such a yellow aura. And they're like, what?
What's wrong with you, man?
Like, is he on drugs?
Who are you? Okay. All right.
That's funny.
All right, let's take a quick break, and let's find out what we do with all this information.
Okay. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. All right, so most of the people listening, if not everyone listening, is a light worker.
Except for the Mystic Michaela spiritual family is a light worker.
Except for the guys that were dragged here because of Jumanji. All right. The rest of us are light workers. Okay. What do we do?
There's the good thing and the not so good thing about being activated into your Lightworker abilities is that your life will do a 180. All right. You can kind of avoid it. You can distract yourself from it. You can buy yourself some time. But once you've been activated and awakened, eventually your spirit guides, the universe will form and organize around you to make your life change. So usually I see a lot of you guys do career changes, geographical moves. You have different people in your life, different friend groups, different relationships. The relationships that stay evolve, they change. Let's say, you're married and you're having a Lightworker awakening. It doesn't mean that you're going to divorce your husband, but it does mean that your relationship will probably evolve. And it'll change, and you guys will have to have a lot of conversations, and it'll be good. It's a good thing. It's a good change, but it will be different. You're going to feel inspired by new activities. You are going to maybe feel even boring or get called boring by old people in your life because they're like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is this new person? And you may be happier alone a lot, like, or with a smaller circle of people. So just understand that you may also have this itchiness to go back to school or try for new jobs or look into different places to live. Just understand that all these things are just so that the energy that is nudging you and moving through you is trying to get you in the best context so that you can be utilized. Because when you're a light worker, you become a tool. You become a vessel for healing. And when you give yourself over to it, what will happen is the forces that be will put you where you're most needed.
Okay.
And it's exciting and it's good. And the good thing is you'll feel very good. You'll feel very connected. You'll feel very fulfilled. You'll feel like you have a mission and you are accomplishing it. So that's a lot, it's a lot and it's scary. But it's also really exciting. If you have a purple aura, it's very exciting. So my recommendation would be to meditate more. I know that's like one of the most cliche things I could possibly say, but it's helpful. Even if it's just like before you go to sleep, like listening to HC frequencies, or if you can't sit maybe on a nature walk, you're just like, don't bring anything with you. Just try to repeat a mantra over and over again. Just try to do that. Like reflecting can be with journaling. Reflecting can be with painting. Reflecting can be with writing. Reflecting can just be sitting and just letting thoughts come to you. Learning about your gifts, all those things that we talked about, your heightened sensitivity, your ability to kind of just know what people need to hear, your ability to kind of know where people may be hurting, for example. Moving into classes, moving into education, moving with people that kind of speak that language. I didn't even get into this because there's light workers that heal pain body wounds. So they say things that you need to hear. But there's also healers that heal physical wounds. So I should have got into this. There's also light workers that all of a sudden you start to just know where somebody's hurting or where somebody is in pain physically. Your hands just gravitate to that. You might get hot hands, sweaty hands, itchy hands, things like that. These are all physical healing light worker abilities as well. But you might want to need to know more about that so you can understand how to organize yourself and how to best utilize it and how not to take it on too much. You're supposed to be a helpful tool. That doesn't mean that you hold it for everybody. It means that you help, not hold. And you will be assigned to your new duties. The universe will assign you eventually. And I want to bring up my book, the Encyclopedia of Energy Healing. I really appreciate all of you. This is my own gratitude moment. I made it for you guys. I hope that you find it helpful in this Lightworker healing journey of yours. And I have a little excerpt that I wanted to share with you. So stay tuned for after the excerpt so we can talk a little bit more, but here we go.
Introduction. Energy surrounds us. It serves as the invisible thread connecting our existence in this plane to all living things. This energy also lies within you. It fuels your body, keeping you healthy, bringing you inner peace, and fostering spiritual enlightenment. This energy requires care just like your body does, however. And if the energy within and around you is blocked, stagnant, or otherwise imbalanced, your physical and mental health can suffer. Energy healing is a practice that aims to address energy imbalances or blockages that contribute to mental and physical pain or illness, limiting life patterns, and poor spiritual conditions.
Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. Well, I definitely learned a lot today because, you know what, I always thought, and again, I didn't know the term that well, light working. I always thought like that's someone who does like Reiki and heals people or does like some weird form of yoga,
right,
and saves the day or something like that. But I guess, what I kind of learned is like you could be a light worker by just doing little things, whether, bringing someone a bottle of orange juice could be, that could be it, right?
Yeah. It's just seeing a need and validating it and filling it and then feeling connected when you do it, to something bigger, something higher, something more than you. But yeah, you'll be put into a role where this is something where you can facilitate it. And yes, there are lots of different types of light workers. There's people I see behind the scenes, they're working. For example, like I'm a secretary for a non-for-profit. Like they are doing so much constantly to make this place run well. That's light working. But you feel connected to it. You know what you're doing matters. Like what you're doing makes a difference. Like you're part of the ripple effect.
Right. And don't feel less than.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're doing that.
Right.
And let's say someone is doing something else.
Yeah, sometimes light workers aren't always face-to-face with who they're helping or healing. Sometimes you're light working for a system. Like I'm making this school better. I'm making this, this foster place run better. Like there's so many ways to do it. But I'm glad that you brought that up. It's connecting to the feeling is the real light working difference.
Yeah.
Well, this podcast is for you and about you, and we're so glad you spent some time with us today.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.